Oh, I see. Tararán. There we go. Now it should work.
Y déjalo. Tararán.
Tú ahorita que me viste lo que hice, dices, no hombre, voy a batallar chingo con esta. Oh, no mames, trae talento.
Sí, no, de que te bloqueo para que no me vuelvas a hablar.
Esa no porque me meo.
Si de repente me anuncié en internet,
All right,
clases
what's
de
up,
acordeón y ya
everybody?
llegó.
Welcome to the live stream. Let's see. While I'm getting ready, I realized before we start, I'm going to be playing a lot of accordion today. And this, what do you call it? The battery on my accordion, I was trying to remember, what's the name of it? Harmonic with a K. That battery goes really quick. I have the 5001 FX model, I think it's called. And it does seem to me that it eats up batteries really, really rapidly. I definitely don't get the battery life from this model that I did from prior models. And, you know, I guess I should do like some, you know, objective testing, I suppose. Not that I want to, but subjectively, just with kind of general, I don't know, what do you call that? Non-scientific observations. It seems like it really eats up the battery life. I have not, I doubt that I've used this for 12 hours, this battery, which is, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's not crazy. Maybe I'm using it in my lessons, in my hours of lessons. Maybe it's normal. You know what? That's why you got to get scientific about it. Perception is maybe different than reality. Anyways, that's all to say. I got this fresh battery that I just opened. This is an Amazon battery, 9-volt. What's up, Hartman Shores? And what's up, Bertie Wooster, first in. And I'm going to replace that so we can get going. I'll do the introductions of myself and the stream and our values and all that sort of stuff in a moment. Do I use lithium batteries? I don't. I tend to just get sort of Bertie Wooster asked. Let's throw Bertie up on the screen. Oh, I can do this too. This is even better. Bam. I always forget that I have this feature. Yeah, they probably are. You know, there was a time, 20 years ago or more? Hey, XPN. Cool. What's up? Glad to see you. There was a time when I had like a little Duracell like battery recharger thing that would work on like normal alkaline batteries. That was probably when I was in like junior high school. And then I don't know. I don't see those around anymore. I know that you can get just specifically rechargeable batteries, which I probably should, honestly, the way I go through these. Come on. There we go. All right. That's the one that I got. Not a lithium, though. I don't know. You know, it's like one of those things where it's like, dude, I burn through these so often that I want to keep it as cost effective as possible now. Not to mention the electronic waste, as they call that. Anyways, let me find something fun to watch. I basically just, as you can see by my wet hair, I just got out of the shower. Doesn't feel good to take a shower in the morning in the winter to me. It's been really cold the last couple days. It was like 16 or something. I think it was down to 13 overnight. But like a midday shower when the world's a little warmer, the house is warmer, I'm warmer. That's nice. Let's see. Well, what should we watch here? Let me go to subscriptions. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Yeah. Oh, what looks cool? Oh, this looks wild. Let's. I'm a sucker for like accordionist filmed outside. Love it.
Mas a música vai ser no final porque hoje nós vamos analisar esta fubica. Hoje estou aqui com o seu Ataíde Bergman e nós vamos analisar a fubica dele. Essa fubica aqui, qual que é que marca de fubica?
I'll tell you what, I'll kind of narrate here. So, Gabe at Potosa put this in for me. Do I need to flip? Let me flip so you guys can see. So he's my top favorite repair technician, as is Potosa Accordion. So I haven't had them do any tuning for me on my instruments because I guess I haven't really needed it. But they're my top pick because Gabe is my friend and he has such a high bar for excellence over there. And I asked him to put. He was the first guy. He kind of got harmonic accordions into the U.S. because I think because his Brazilian connection. They approached him and he's like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" And then he kind of like Potosa started stocking it, and then Liberty Bellas followed them. And now you can get them various places. But Gabe installed this as he has my big Moschino, which I'll be getting back on Thursday and Friday. That'll be really fun. But anyway, I just want to show you guys how this works. So if you have an accordion that's large enough, they can cut a little hole in the usually aluminum base plate here, and then you get this little caddy, this little kind of shelf that the old battery comes out of, and the new battery goes into. It tells me what side's positive, what side's negative. Little side goes here, and it should work. Should pop right back in. And with the harmonics, they're cool because they tell you when they're dying and when they're dead. Like I should have showed you with the old battery. I don't want to do it again though. But well, I will show you. Anyway, this is good stuff. These are, oop, and look, that wasn't even in there properly. So when your batteries, this is a cool feature that Harmonic has. They really implemented all of these features that are like what an accordionist would want out of a mic system, more so than any other brand. So we should see, this is what I saw earlier today, was that the little light that's blue when the battery is good turns half blue, half red when it's going bad, and then all red when it is totally bad. And so, well, now it's looking blue, although I can tell you earlier it was red. And I'm fairly certain that it is bad. So I'm swapping it out here. Let's see, let me go this way. So anyway, Gabe installed this. He did a great job as always. And then something was up with the jack. I don't think it has anything to do with anybody. I think just sometimes, you know, when you're manufacturing a whole bunch of things, you know, and I assume now my fingernail's messed up, so let me use a tool. I don't want to use a knife because I'm going to scratch it. I'll see if I can use these fingernail clippers, which I always keep. Nope. Oh, come on. Also, I just trimmed my fingernails today, so. What? Ah! Do I have to like press down? What's going on here? Let's see if this side will do it. I just had it. There we go. All right. The other side, the big side. So let me swap this. Hopefully I don't have these messed up. And we'll have juice. That's a little segment. Back to this.
Bica que é essa?
É a de Fusca.
Que eu achei bonita aqui é o capô. Esse capô não é de Fuca, né?
Não, esse é de Tempra,
Tempra.
da Fiat.
Ah, e o para-choque aqui.
Esse aí é do bagageiro do...
Dude, they're just talking about cars. All right. Let's listen to some music. See what Julio's up to. was a cool left hand run. Okay, that's enough of that. Really pretty though. Love the bandoneon. I realized also that I did not send out the email for today, even though I had written it and prepped it. So I just went through and clicked send, alerting people. It's also interesting. There's a new feature on my website, like a AI feature. I'd gotten as far like my process for every live stream is I create the copy. Usually it's just me like blabbing a wall of text into the AI. Then the AI has like these rules to format it for me. I usually have to like dress it up and proofread it and tell it, no, change this, da 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 da. It's also like a thinking out process too, as far as the creation process. So it's usually like when I read it, I realize things that it's missing. Working with the AI for crafting text, like writing and stuff like that. So I go through a few rounds of that, and then I have to like do a few different things. I gotta put it on the events for the website, and there's just like a new feature where it recognized that there's an event, and it created a draft of the email, and it like kind of summarized even the description that I had for the event, which is kind of interesting. Kind of cool. Anyways, yeah, adventures in AI are going well. I have, I don't know, I'm continuing to work on stuff. I'm like just kind of building my own project and task manager using AI and Google Sheets and Google Docs, which is interesting. I had built all this stuff on Notion through Claude, the AI like chat AI tool. I forget what you call that, AI platform, whatever it is. But then I realized after using it, it's all these API calls to the Notion and then back, and it was just like time consuming and also gobbling up all these token credits, which is what you're limited to when you pay for AI. Basically, you're paying for a certain amount of tokens per time period. It's really interesting. Claude, for example, which is a very, very popular one that people use now, you get a certain amount of tokens to use throughout the day. So you kind of have like, I think it seems like it's 3 or 4 hour sections. So it's like, okay, you have this many tokens to use for like the most premium, high power thinking AI thing. You get a few of those, you know, and then for the less powerful one, you get many more of those. And if you use them all up, if you like at the very beginning, I didn't know, so I was like, oh, Sonnet 4.5 is the best. I'm going to use that for all this stuff. And then I like used all my tokens up, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even do what I wanted, and now I have to wait until it resets. So some reset the next day. Like I noticed Gemini doesn't reset until like early in the morning the following day. Claude like spaces it out. It kind of helps you, I guess, not have overages. Anyways, why did I bring that up? Oh yeah. Because this way with Google, you're using many fewer tokens because it's all in the ecosystem there. So I can like build this kind of task management thing out of its whole ecosystem. So it talks to itself flawlessly. I don't have to worry about any APIs or things kind of sending back and forth. It handles all that. It's extremely quick, and it knows it very well. Anyways, that's probably boring to most people. Kind of interesting to me. My initial like thrill of AI has definitely chilled out a little bit, which is probably good. I'm still definitely interested in it. There's a ton of stuff I'm thinking about building, especially around education and my own health and well-being too. It's pretty interesting. You can sort of like, I don't know, cultivate your experts. So I could cultivate my experts for music and educational design and pedagogy. I could cultivate my experts for small business. I could cultivate my experts for my own health and stuff like that. People that I follow, like Andrew Huberman, for example, if you guys, anybody out there knows Andrew Huberman. Anyway, all that non-accordion stuff. XBN, what's up? Great to see you in the chat. XBN says that they have never had their hands on a bandoneon. We have to put the accent on the end, the bandoneon. They are bisonoric diatonic like a concertina, or are they unisonoric chromatic like a piano accordion? They are bisonoric, and there's one. They're pretty messed up. Like everybody says, they don't make a lot of logical sense, and they're also just really challenging. So like all the cool stuff that you hear bandoneon players play is extremely challenging. They have to do all these crazy like anti-anatomical sort of things where like if you watch them, a lot of times they're using the top of their fingernail to play because they have to make such weird stretches in the layout to get these things. It's like, anyways, I'm very impressed. And then on top of that, it's not just good because it's hard, it's good because it's good. There was a thing we had a bunch of like, guests over the weekend, and there were some kids, and they like got into my office. So like, you have a bunch of instruments, can we play them? I was like, okay, yeah. So I brought down the smallest accordion that I have, and that was still too large and too heavy for them. So then I brought down a diatonic accordion that I think I showed on the stream. It's, what is it? F, B flat, E flat, I think, or B flat, E flat, A flat. I think it's B flat, E flat, A flat. And I was trying to play some simple melodies just in the moment because I haven't practiced it at all. And it's I bring that up because it's a bisonoric instrument. And I was trying to do just Jingle Bells, and with all the kids watching and stuff like that, and I was just like, I really couldn't get it reliably and repeatedly. Trying to do it on one row, kind of like as I think it should be done. And then I remembered a friend in New Orleans had told me that he had a diatonic accordion, and he ended up like going to Texas, and he took a lesson from somebody on it. And he's like, oh yeah, that guy told me that you want to play all the major scales across all the rows, so you can do them all opening or all closing. And I remembered that, and I was like, oh, cool. So then I just figured out the major, and I didn't get it to where it's like nervous system, but I started to figure out the pattern of, I don't even know which key that I was in, but I was, I guess, starting on the bottom row as my tonality, whatever that was, B flat. And I started to like find the pattern of the major scale opening. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so much easier for the brain. And anyway, then but then I was like, they were done, I was done, so I was like done with the accordion time. But I'm excited to pick it back up again. And I feel like I could get pretty far pretty quick now that I realize that I can play a major scale across. I may as well grab it. It's up here. I got my new this is my new IKEA thing that was like really relatively very inexpensive. This is a good one. It is like screwed into the wall here for safety. It's just your standard like particle board, cheap, but it's the wide one. I forget how much it was. It was, these days it seemed very affordable. Let's see. So let's see if I can get this going. Yeah. Villas Moves says, as talking about the spread voicings. Oh, I have the straps like really small for the kids. Sorry about the hair. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can find it again. I haven't touched it since Sunday. Let's see. Let's see. So it's in. Okay, so I think this is the key of the row because I can do a major scale on it. So now I have to find the major scale across them. So it's going to be closing, which is very antithetical for a piano accordion player. Yes, Villismoo. Hey, Villismoo, have you played bandoneon before? I fiddled with them one time. There was one while I was waiting for accordion repairs to get done at Liberty Bellows. I played with it, and it was like a Victoria bandoneon, and it was kind of broken, but it was really frustrating, man. It was. I didn't enjoy my time just because I couldn't even really get there. Um, let's see what is even more challenging in that the pattern on diatonic doesn't repeat in the same way, right? Yeah, I remember that like some notes like you have like do re mi kind of like next to each other, and then fa is like way somewhere else, and things of different octaves were it was like the craziest pattern ever. Okay. Okay. Okay, there's my re. Okay, there we go. This is probably frustrating for you guys. Okay, that's not so bad. That's even more of a simple pattern than I found before. Oh no. Oh no. How do I get that natural 7? Oh shit. Oh no. Maybe I can't in that direction. Do I have to go out? I don't think I can get that one, that 7th step of the scale. Can I? Oh. No. It's opening only. Shoot. All right, well, I know I had it a different way. Anyways, I won't. The live stream is not about that, but it's really fun. Okay, cool. Villismoo never played bandoneon. Oops, I meant to put that up there. No, that's Birdie's. There we go. I'm having fun with this feature right now. What does Birdie say? B to C on my diatonic requires both to be pulled. Oh, okay. Both pulling, so neither pushing. Yeah. I guess that's for like the chords and harmonies and stuff. Okay. You learn it in one octave and the next higher, it works differently. That's, yeah. Yeah, bandoneon is so cool and so beautiful. I don't know how they play it, man. It's it ain't easy, but really neat. And what I've heard culturally is there is a what do you call it? Like there are, I'll just say more logically laid out, more orderly, logically laid out systems. I think there's a Viennese system, from Vienna, that I had heard about, and just different ways to lay out the buttons so they make more sense. And what I've heard, this is just like probably through the internet mostly, is that those are rejected. Like it's like, nope, we play the traditional layout, and if you really want to play bandoneon, like that's what you do. Like get out of here with those others, which is an interesting cultural thing. Let me put this back up on the shelf so I don't trip over it later. All right, so my name is Dallas, and this live stream is about accordion and music and all kinds of stuff. And on today's live stream, we're going to do the third in a set of 3 live streams about lead sheets. And because it's winter holiday time, Christmas for all the Christian people, or just culturally, like I'm not a religious person, but I celebrate Christmas. I like the season. We decorate the house. It's fun. We visit family, all that sort of stuff. And I like the songs of Christmas to get me in the spirit. And they're wonderful vehicles for doing all this kind of arranging stuff. So for that spirit, we're gonna do like winter holiday tunes, Christmas tunes today. The third one next week is viewer submitted Christmas accordion video or holiday accordion video. So all your winter holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas, secular, winter music, whatever you got, send it in. There's probably like a Muslim holiday happening right now. I'm ignorant. I'll admit that to that. But anyway, all all world religions, all cultures, everything is requested. So send over all the stuff that you like. You can email me, or you could just throw it in chat here next Tuesday. It's really fun, and I would love 2 hours of just stuff that you guys throw at me, because then I get to hear cool stuff that I like, or that you like rather, and you turn me on to new things. So let's see. I do this live stream every Tuesday. Let me read the thing. This live stream is pro accordion, pro musicians' rights, pro musicians' representation, pro educators' rights and representation, pro LGBTQIA+, pro gender equality, pro feminist, pro democracy, pro political plurality, pro immigration, pro immigrant. We're anti-fascist, anti-white supremacist, anti-Semitic, pro-Semitic. Horrible thing happened on Australia over the weekend. Just stupid, man. We're anti-war, anti-genocide of the Palestinian people. We're pro-public funding for the arts, pro-public education, pro-educators, pro-academia, university, junior college, all that kind of good stuff. Learn, grow, meet new people. We like discovering and learning about different cultures of the world, different approaches to music, and all that kind of good stuff. And I'll add another one. I think, music, more and more, I think just the way forward is just treating music as a language and exercising and getting fluent in all the parts of it, which many of those parts are neglected through the way that I learned music through school, which is basically just to read sheet music on a page and then to play it on my instrument, either the piano or the clarinet or the saxophone. I never did learn drum music. I only did like 1 year of drums in marching band. But anyways, that's what's up. So today's the third part of this 3-part series, and I want to talk about arranging now. So the first week I tried to talk about chord symbols, mostly demonstrating and talking about them. I'm not doing a thorough course, but it's kind of an overview. Good stuff. Last week I tried to talk a lot more about rhythms and just try to play rhythms and show you guys how I approach things. Bertie Wooster, some other people in the chat were really fun of like suggesting tunes and like ways to do tunes, different rhythms and stuff like that. And I think that a logical third place to go today is looking at a lead sheet and then talking about how we could make this into a performable song, something you could play to make a YouTube video, or to make a recording and send to your friend, to play for your family, to play on a gig, to play at a cafe, to play at an open mic, to add to your repertoire as a professional musician. And those are I have some personal philosophies and sort of rules of music that I have come across. A lot of them I've been taught, and not in music school like some of the other stuff, or not through classes, but through working with other musicians. Like there was a good friend of mine, Chris, who now lives in Washington, but used to live in Pennsylvania. And he was the first guy I met when I moved to Pennsylvania, actually, the first musician that I met. And I'm probably the first like friend that I made too here. Anyways, a really wonderful musician. And we had this little duo project, and he was a wonderful, really excellent musician. And he had this quality. He also was a painter, and he rebuilt a boat. He was a real, like, I don't know, like a Renaissance man, sort of a Da Vinci kind of a guy. Not so much inventions, but a lot of things. And he had this wonderful quality that really behooves all of us, which is to study something that works, that you like, and to try to understand why it's working. And he applied that. And so working with him when I was in my early 20s, I moved to Pennsylvania when I was 24, almost 20 years ago. And he would often use the Beatles, who I really had never listened to in my younger years, or never paid attention to, And he used them a lot for examples of arranging. It was like, okay, no, like the two of us, I was playing accordion and he was playing guitar and singing. And we were doing jazz standards and then also a lot of pop tunes, Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash and Neil Young and all kinds of like 60s, 70s, 80s tunes, David Bowie. We'd cover a lot of that stuff as this little kind of folk jazz pop kind of duo thing. And he introduced me to a lot of ideas about different parts, like my part in particular, which was really kind of more of the additional instruments. He had kind of the rhythm and groove going on in his guitar for the most part, and then he had the melody, and then I would do counter melodies and pads and other sort of figures. And he talked a lot about arranging in terms of, oh, listen to the way, like one of the things that was really revelatory to me, that is going to be the first idea that I talk about, is, he said, like, listen to most Beatles songs of their sort of like golden era, not their really early stuff, but the George Martin stuff. And he'll say every time they do a verse, it's different. The orchestration is different. There's new instruments that were there weren't. There's new parts and that sort of stuff. And it's the same case for a lot of the times when the choruses come through. And that's a really fundamental idea that I had never thought about before, this idea. And so I have found that to be true, and I've found that in many, I'm going to just say that the kind of first law and rule that we're going to sort of apply is that we want change. We want our arrangement to change. And this is something I work with my students all the time on. In fact, I had a wonderful lesson yesterday with a student who's just rocketing up. I mean, she's got this like super diligent self-learner thing going on. And then the suggestions and advice I give her, she just like implements, and it's just, I'm seeing like just really, really cool stuff, cool music, great taste, picks these beautiful tunes, learns. And like one of the things that we kind of go back and forth on is like, all right, here, like make your left hand develop in this genre that she's working in. So it's like, okay, like let's work on different ways of what are the different things in this like Irish tune, for example, that different ways that the left hand could approach this tune. It could do some walking bass stuff. It could do this kind of like oompa thing. It could be that kind of oompa thing. And then we have to like let's sort of organize them, or at least label them in terms of sort of energy levels. So we can start the tune at a less energy level and make it grow and get more interesting, and sort of, it ends up getting more intense by this. There's a certain amount of je ne sais quoi, or I could like describe in words what's making it more intense, but that's like over academifying it. It's just, it does, it goes from long notes to less long notes and more busy left hand and stuff like that. And so first idea is change. We want things to change, right? And that's a thing that you don't really get, especially even in your music. So like, I'm writing like a method book in my head, right? Like it's like I'm experimenting, my process is changing and stuff. And in this method book in my head, like if I think about Palmer Hughes as kind of like an archetypal method book, which has a lot of good stuff and then it's missing a lot of stuff, or I would do things a lot different. You get your first Palmer Hughes song. For the student to play it properly, an ethos that any student could do is to make it change. So we say one really, really simple thing. Student, brand new accordion student, first song in the book, whatever it's called. First time, like you've played it as it is on the page, but now we need to make a little arrangement out of it, right? Because playing it one time through is not enough. So why don't the first time play only your right hand, and then the second time bring in your left hand, right? So we add, it changes, and we do additive. So that's the second idea, is that we want to practice crafting, especially additive stuff. So getting more intense, more busy, building more tension, more activity, more excitement. And then we also want to be building less. Less is in there. And that's a little bit more developed and more sophisticated thing. But the music that we like and want to play is that. We want that to happen. Let's see, what else? Let's see. And I want to talk about like orchestration. So how many notes am I playing in the right hand? How many notes am I playing in the left hand? And we can refer to those as voices. And then orchestration with the register switches too. So thank you so much for the suggestion, Birdie. So Birdie right off the bat suggested, have yourself a merry little Christmas. And I want to suggest to you guys, any Christmas tunes, any winter holiday tunes, klezmer, whatever. If I can find a chart for it, if I don't know it, I'll play it. So let's start with that. I have like 2 fake books that I'm kind of working off of. Let me get the QuickTime player up first to get the iPad on the screen. Do. Why is it not on the screen? Oh, because it's not plugged in. You got to plug in the iPad to make it work. So To arrange something is to think like, it's really to think like a composer. You know, we have those labels, composer and arranger. Um, pardon me, but you're thinking like somebody who is creating. Okay, let me get this on the screen so you have something to look at. Voila. Okay. Let me go here, and we'll go to the thing about the Easy Christmas Fake Book is that it's more accessible than the Jazz Christmas Real Book that I have. However, a lot of times they stretch across multiple pages, which is kind of a pain. But okay, is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas in here? No, it's not. So we got to go to the real book, Christmas Real Book. H. Isn't it in here? It's not. Okay. Here. Let me find a chart for it really quick. That's so funny. I wonder if whoever holds the publishing rights to it is reluctant or what. Let me find a chart online really quick. That's such a beautiful tune. Especially that that chorus to it. Let's see. Lead sheet. Also, hey Tom's accordion. I saw you come in. I meant to say hello. Judy Garland. Oh, neat. Okay, I like this one. From freedomsheets.com. Yeah, nice. And there's a verse that I don't know about, so that's really fun. All right, let me download this and then send it to the iPad. This says Judy Garland, which I don't know. I don't know why it's attributed to Judy Garland, but somebody out there might know. I bring these into Fourscore on my iPad, which I'll be using on the gig tomorrow. Geez War. How am I doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. It's that time of year where it's dark and cold and biologically we have to have our 8-hour day and get all our stuff done, and like it's just like it's so easy to get down or just feel tired and sluggish and like have no energy, and then that creates this like internal thing. So I'm trying to do stuff. I'm trying to this guy Andrew Huberman, he references, he has a cool YouTube channel. He's a neuroscientist, and he does science study based general health and well-being stuff, and he talks about a lot of different things. And one of his big things is as soon as you wake up, if the sun is up, go outside, because sunlight hitting your eyes turns on the body's like clock that's in your hypothalamus or something like that in your brain, and that starts your circadian rhythm of being awake, and it helps you wake up, and it helps you feel tired at the end of the day so you sleep well. And he has other things like try to delay your caffeine intake for 90 minutes to 2 hours if you can after you wake up, because that helps avoid an afternoon crash. Anyways, I'm trying to do that stuff and feel good. Exercise, all that kind of good stuff. How are you doing, Gizvor? I know you said you got finals. Do you feel prepared for your finals? Okay. I've got it up on the iPad now. So, to make an arrangement. Wow, that's really tiny, isn't it? Here, let me go sideways. Or should I go like this? That's better, I think, right? Is that better, guys? Or is this better? I don't know. There! That's better. Okay. And then I can kind of spotlight my hands if for the visual people out there. So this has this verse that I don't think I've ever heard. And so I'll skip it. The verses are really neat, however. And it's like, if you're a musician that knows and performs the verses, that's cool. That's like nerd style. People like that. Other musicians like that. Fans of music like that. What was I going to do? Let's see. We're going to go down here. So this song, let's see. Then we'll go to the second page. Yeah, it's over two pages. If I remember correctly, the form is AABA. We have two A sections that are all marked. So I believe this is a standard 32 bar form where we have, what happened? I was going to mark. Oh, there it is. Okay. We have an A section of 8 bars. So the 32 is going to get split up into 4 8-bar sections. Very good to know and think about this stuff. So that's an A, and then here's another A, and then I have to go to the next page because that's the way this publisher did it. Let's see. Or maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So that'd be the end of that 8. The second 8. So, and then the B should be and the B is longer. It's not 8 bars. It's a 16 bar B. And then here should be the final A, and we'll see if it's 8 bars. I guess it has a coda. So it's not a 32 bar AABA form. What would we call it? I guess we'd call this an AB form is what we would. Let's count it out. So I think there was 16 to this part. And then let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16. So that's 24. Let me make sure that's right. This is kind of important because this is about knowing the tune. And then we're going to be creating an arrangement, which means that we're going to be playing this more than once, probably. So let's see. This is 8 to here. So we've got 8 on this page and then another 4. That's 12. And then, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 plus another 8 is 24, right? Yeah, 16 plus 8 is 24. So that's 24. Is the other part 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's not. Okay. Weird. All right. So, well, we'll go with it. I don't really want to take a ton of time. An interesting form. How could we say that? So we just got to think of where it changes. They both go this far. So in my brain, I want to find the common places. The lyrics are different, but musically, this is where it starts again. From here, between the blue is the same as from here, this section to here. And did I include the C7? I'll include the C7 here. Wrong blue. There. So that's all the same. And then it's the way it ends. So the right. Okay. So then let me get this in the right keys. Da, da, da. Okay. So I'm thinking of this as an A-B form, but it's not completely symmetrical now. Not now, but like it's the composition isn't symmetrical because the A has like a classic A-B form is where they both start the same. The A section and the B section both start the same. Let me get more of my hand in here. The A section and the B section both start the same, which these do. And in this case, the A section and the B section for how many measures? Did we say that's 16? I think 16 measures are the same. So up until that C7, and then from here, let me mark this in here, this B. And this is what you're going to want to do when you get into an arrangement like that. AAB, A1, or AAB, A. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Robert. So Robert, so let's see. AAB. So what's the B then? Let's see here. That's A1. That's A. And then another A is what did I do? Oh, that's at the bottom. Sorry. This the way the iPad is messing me up, guys. Okay. Because there we go. Okay, there's the second A, right? I think probably, yeah. All right, so A, and then Robert's saying, here, let me put Robert's comment on the screen. So Robert, who's a wonderful accordion player based out of Colorado, we watch him on the stream sometimes. Says the way he thinks of it. A. So that's the first A, and then the second A is and the second A ends where it goes to the and then he's saying then you got a B, and then the B is I'm gonna rewrite this. I really don't like this where they leave the chord out of the beginning of the measure. It's stupid. And the square thing is really weird. Okay, and then Robert would say, Robert's calling. Let's do Robert's thinking. This will be fun. Thank you, Robert. Then he's saying we're back to A. So we got or AABA and then a coda. Okay. AAB and then A. But that's kind of like the second A, isn't it? Right? It's like A2. Right, A1. Oh, I see what he's saying. I think you mean A2. Well, whatever. Anyways. And then that would be the quota thing. I think the way I would think of this is probably I would probably think of this as a 16 bar A, and then the first time it ends with this big section, and the second time it ends with this smaller section. That's how I would think of it. Or at least that's how I'm thinking of it right now. So, okay. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, now let's talk about making an arrangement. So, to think simply, This is a fairly long form. Let's see. Now I got to change this so you guys can see the whole page here. What we want is we want change. We want something to change, and especially on this one. Okay, wait. There's more. Oh, Hartman Shorts. Thanks so much. Send a version to my email that fits on a single page. I'll do that. Let's check out this. I got it. All right. Yeah, that's even nicer. Thank you for that. We're going to use that. All right. Takes a village. Voila. Okay. Lovely. And it has the lyrics still. Thank you. All right. So I could play through the whole thing, but I'm not going to. Well, I won't play it through. We'll do the whole thing, but I won't play through it first. Thank you so much. Okay, so then Robert said the second A would have the second ending if they had used the repeats. Yeah. All right. Can you guys see that? I think I need to go. That's the way I do it. Okay, there we go. All right, so if I did this, as we expect, right? And what I'm thinking is somewhere around the changing of the different sections, I'm going to add some more things at the beginning. So let's say that just kind of getting into this whole idea, we're going to work on a lot of things, but let me just show you how I might start very limited. And this is an idea that Jack and Natalie, especially Jack, often has people just do the right hand as a learning way, but also he shows you that the right hand can be enormously expressive. By the way, come to New Orleans for Cinema in the first 2 weeks. Go to Cinema USA, CNIMAUSA.com. I'll be there one day both those weeks. We'll all go out to Frenchman Street and watch some amazing local jazz. Anyways, but Jack often, I'm inspired by him to just play the right hand alone. And this has a little written counter melody. That's nice. Now, for me, that's enough. If I try to imagine somebody listening to it, and that's what I'm doing right now, at least. And sometimes I can think about it in the moment. There's that creative sort of inkling. Sometimes we hear the thing very clearly. Sometimes it just leads us in a direction. Not this way, that way. No, you don't have it yet. Keep searching for something, right? So there, I feel like I need to now introduce something new because that idea is stale. It's gone stale. I did it enough. So maybe I'll bring in the left hand. And maybe a simple left hand, which is just the roots. Or mostly roots. I can't quite help. I feel like these big empty holes that need to be filled. This should be this is interesting. This has some significant reharmonizations. Let me simplify it first, even though I like this chart. But the better I get, the more I prefer a simple chart. Because there's beauty in simplicity, and then also it's easier to get complex from simplicity than it is to get simple from complexity. It's easier too. Okay. So then at this point now in this section, let me kind of mark where the sections are in my way of thinking. Do I have another color here? So kind of thinking of these. Ooh, where did my blue go? Come on, blue. You're supposed to be right there. Okay. So one section, the top, you heard me play right hand alone and more rubato. So more space, playing elastic time. Right, I don't need to do that again. Now that we're in the pink section, I feel like now it needs to get even busier, or I need to bring up the energy more. So now I'm gonna probably do a more something that drives the accompaniment more. So I might do like a Frank Morocco kind of thing because that's what I'm into. This is F minor. And I have, if you notice, I have chords now too. So I'm hearing a bigger sound, and that should be an A7. As it sounds like in my head. So I'm feeling like that is the sound that I'm hearing, something bigger. Now, where do I want to go from here? I probably want to get soft again, so that way it can build up. Because it's fairly busy here, and I still have half the song left. So it's nice to have, this section. So now I'm thinking like, okay, my bridge, I'm referring to the pink section here as the bridge. Here and there. This interesting 12-bar section. As the bridge, wait, no. Just 8 bars. Yeah, okay. So then we're back here to another section. I only have 3 colors, so I'm using that one again. So then I want to make it come back down again because there's only so much up that you can do, I think our job in this whole creation is creating ups and downs and more tension and more release and sensitivity. And so you want to think like an amazing vocalist, that like can really belt it out and then pull it back, And we get the whole orchestra to do that. We get the whole freaking accordion. So let me do the bridge again. So I probably won't play the exactly same thing. And there I'm tapering it down. But I'm not, the thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go back to what I was doing here at this blue, which was because I want to chill it out. I don't want to like kill it. I don't want the train to stop too much. I just want it to like not go quite as fast. So I'm going to keep this thing that I had, the Frank Morocco style left hand that I had on the B section. Right? Okay, so I tapered it down. Let me start 2 bars before the blue. So in the pink. Now here it needs to build, doesn't it? Can you guys see that last bit? Yeah. Now this needs, I always hear a contrary line. Sa, dee, 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 dee. I feel like something like that. What would that be? I don't like that. I don't know. I'm hearing in my head like a contrary idea here. That's all right. It's got to start in the A. And then bo ba ba da ba bum. And here, my arrangement, I'm thinking about where am I going next. So this is a big thing also, is constantly thinking about what am I headed to next that I can move to. So I did it as far as where am I heading next. Here, I'm getting quieter. And here, if I'm doing this in a sort of a jazz arrangement, which I will because it's relatively easy for me, I'm not going out of my comfort zone, so a nice way to start this stream. I'm gonna prepare for a solo, an improvised solo. And to do that, I'm gonna set up swing time more, especially because I just hit this kind of a feeling where this kind of groove grid that we're feeling of swing time, 1, 2, 3, this kind of romantic partner dance kind of with the brushes. No. Sorry, guys. Okay, and then I might come back and I might do an arrangement. So, or I might do an improvisation. That's not a great improvisation at all. Maybe I'll stick more to the melody, referencing the melody, and then playing some other non-melodic things. So. Oh. And I don't know. I'm going to kind of nope out of that for the moment. So let's go kind of back to this arrangement and see if I was going to do this whole thing twice. It's a nice challenge to think about because it's a very long form, especially as at the tempo that I'm doing this at. It's long, and so it's demanding to have enough skills to keep something interesting. And I don't think anything's easy on the accordion, but something like this, keeping a slow song feeling present and emotional and not draggy and rushy and blah blatty and just boring, is its own challenge. So how can I sculpt this? Let me think about this. So think about some other approaches. So what we want to do is we want to construct different change, right? So let's just go through it again. So first time through. Right? Maybe a little kind of chordal thing, cadence. And maybe this time I want to stretch things out. So I'm going to keep this idea going so that everything can kind of be maybe twice as long. But or just kind of stretch it out. So what kind of variation? So this time I tried to really use even more minimal a counter melody, right? So my first day, which I just played the yellow, I did introduce counter melody there, but it was fairly reserved. So then for the second day, I still won't introduce the left hand yet. I'll just be busier or more full, more use of a second voice. And so this is thinking about what I would call orchestration, which comes from the idea of being somebody that has a full orchestra in front of you. And usually the orchestra, the fundamental way to think about an orchestra is in sections. So you have your violin section, and you have your viola section, and you have your cello section, and you have your bass section, and those are all the strings. Those are only just the strings in your orchestra, right? Which if you have a camerata or something, then you only have strings. But then if you have a full orchestra, then you have brass. So you have the low brass, and you have the medium. I actually don't know all the terms for the brasses, but I know that the low brass is one thing, and then there are multiple sections there. Then you have the woodwind sections, of which are the flutes and clarinets and bassoons, and those are all different kind of timbres and textures and ranges. And then you have your percussion section, and I probably left some out, but anyway, so thinking like that, right? So you think sort of orchestrationally like that, and also in voices. So how many different people, like if I'm thinking of an instrument. So here's one person. So, and here's two people. Here's a second person. Right? And here they are together. Oh, sorry. Right? So two voices now is building excitement. And then I could think of, like, when we get to this, the pink part, I could think of a third voice happening. So say I have two parts, or say I still have two parts, but instead of the second voice being in my right hand, maybe the second voice is in my left hand. And that's usually, what am I thinking of? Maybe going from higher violin now as one of my orchestra things to like the bass section, bass and cellos. I got to the shoot. I'm hearing these kind of ideas that the more I work with them, the more, which I suggest you guys do too, the more you can cultivate and listen to your ideas, to ask your imagination, what do I hear? And limitations are wonderful for creativity. Limit yourself to two parts and say, all right, left hand, you can't just play oompa here. You got to make a melodic shape, you know? And oompa is fine. Oompa is great and it's useful, but we want to have oompa and then not oompa. You know, we want it to change. So, let's see. What was I? I think it was any something like that, maybe. What's up? Yeah, Locomotive Forever. Awesome. Denmark. Cool. I've been thinking about Denmark lately for a number of different reasons. I've been missing my friend Henrik, who passed away, and he was a Danish dude who lived in New Orleans. Wonderful man and a friend. Okay, so adding more voices. So the second voice or a third voice. So what if I could just kept harmonies? So now I have two voices. I have maybe a long held voice In the thumb or the lower fingers, and then in the upper fingers I have the melody. And then now maybe I do more of a chordal thing because that's one of the pieces of vocabulary I have. Sorry. And we're coming to the end. Let's see. Yeah. So we are coming to the end. And we still don't have regular time yet. So I was kind of feeling like a double time idea. So when I got to and have yourself a merry little Christmas, instead of one and double time, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, chickadon, chickadon. So that's where you play. Where you would play one thing, you play two. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the song still moves and the melody is still slow. So that's called a double time feel, because the feeling is double time, but you haven't actually changed. If I did a real double time, the melody would also be faster. But I don't think that's right. So anyway, so that's another way of getting more exciting. So on the repeat. So So eventually, I'm going to get out of this for the last one. Right here. So I'm going from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, and G minor. And then I don't know. I'm definitely not happy with the way what I did in this big space here. And even this one has been kind of tricky. I think there's a couple changes. I think I would make this a C instead of an E minor. And then every time I've been playing this, instead of the thing that was written there, which sounds more right in my head. So I'm coming down, and then this last bit on the very last time, then I want to get slow. I want to really do like this train coming into the station kind of a thing here. So I want to end it properly, and in this case, since it's a sensitive ballad, a very romantic, or not necessarily romantic, but you know, it's whatever the feeling is that. So I want to slow it down. So I went back to regular time feel. Bom be bom be be do do do. I'll do a nice rubato. What I gotta. I really don't like that, but I'll figure out something else. And then an ending. Is there some part of the song that I could tag? Da be bom be da, or bom 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 be ba do didn't do da. Maybe it's that. Just like a final little tag of maybe a memorable motif. There are a bunch of different chordal endings that you could do. The really famous one is starting on the tritone, so which would be an F sharp. Some version of that where a lot of times you keep the melody on the C. Whatever. Okay, so there's an idea. There's an idea for a ballad, starting from less and moving to more and making things change. Okay, let's do We Three Kings. Let's see. I'll go back to. Oh man. Okay, yeah. I'll go to the Christmas Real Book because it'll have. I assume it's in here. That's a carol. Let's see if that's in here. And I'm open to any tunes that you guys want to hear me do as well. Let's see if I can find that. Okay. Boo. So this is a waltz, right? Scroll down. And then rise we're leading. Where's that? So how could I do this and keep it interesting? Well, let's see if I can make it a waltz. So what I'm trying to do is make it interesting and make it, I guess, like intimate or small such that I have room to grow and become bigger. So it has room to develop. If I start really big, then I don't have any room to grow any bigger than that. And maybe we'll find a tune that I can start really big on, and then we'll talk about how you taper that down, what happens in that case. But like, if I start there, where do I go? You know, I'm playing loud, I'm playing like really syncopated. I got a lot of these kind of broken chord things. How do I get even bigger than that? Do I do like I don't even know. That would probably be even a down thing. Like, it's like I don't want to. If I do start there, it has to change, right? Cool. Roland Garb wants to do Silent Night. I will do that next. Cool. Or maybe you don't. You just said that, but let me know. I will happily do Silent Night if you want after We Three Kings. So what I will do instead is something very similar. Instead of like in the previous tune, Have Yourself a Merry Christmas, Merry Little Christmas, where I only played the right hand and left the left hand out. In this case, I'll keep it in, so we have some different models. Here's a little introduction. And that's really nice too, because that can set that helps the arrangement. It brings people in. It sets your groove up. It's good for you as the musician to kind of get centered in it, and it's really fun. You know, it's like the way a movie starts. When the movie starts, like panning across the environment that the opening scene is going to be, rather than just like boom, the movie started, and here are the characters telling you about their story. You know, it's a setting for it. Cool. Roland wants to do Silent Night, so we'll do that next. So an introduction sort of sets the scene. And I could just take the opening chord or the tonality. Like the tonality of this song is E minor. So I could just do an E minor. What did you notice? I tapered down. I tapered down to introduce the melody. So much of what we want to do is we want to introduce different sections. So if the first section is an intro, I want to start, like, I don't want it to feel like, oh, is he messing up? Is he not sure? Is the song starting? Is he like warming up on the instrument? You know, I want to start confidently. Right? So taper down and then start the melody. Right? And then we have a new section that changes tonality. So it gives us some new framing and new possibilities, right? And so also deliberately in the way that I'm saying this, I'm playing in a way that's more intimate, more gentle, more like I'm closer to you, sort of. I'm just using all these metaphors or analogically. I'm speaking analogically here to explain it, but you can hear it, you know. But deliberately, my touch isn't the same, and this is what I tell my students too when we're talking about this. Is like, how do you play bigger? Like if I was gonna play the same thing but bigger, of course my left arm would be stronger, and I'd be making my accents bigger. But my right hand, and this is something that Jacques and Natalie articulated. It's something I intuitively kind of understood some of, but I didn't have any sort of library or vocabulary of ideas. But they talk about how you touch. If you want a gentle sound, you have to touch the accordion. You have to begin the notes gently and end them gently, like I'm doing. I'm not saying that I learned this from them. Jack would, you know, run me around the block 20 times here, making this so much more beautiful and expressive. But right, so my air is da dee dum dee, and my touch is matching the way I speak. So when a lot of times I'll say, "How would you speak to a baby?" You just think, "Oh, hey, baby, boo, ba, boo, dum, you know, we make these like rounded, gentle sounds. At least in the United States where I live, in the culture I live in, we don't go, "Hey, hello, baby, how are you?" Da, da. You know, you don't have these like really bursts of things that are very sudden. The way we talk, and that seems to be in the language that I know, gentle. We speak gently, you know. So I just use that as like an archetype of speaking gently. And we think of our touch as the same. How I touch the notes, how I press the note and release the note is the equivalent of how I speak. So, hey, over there. Yeah, you know, if I'm coaching a sports team or whatever, I need to shout and be very urgent and alert, or yeah, you know, like I'm cheering, or any sort of loud speaking, angry, that whatever it is, it's much more the attack of our sound is much faster. And so if I wanted to do just when I repeat, you know, I want my air and my touch to change. So it's I'm attacking on air with a much faster attack, stronger air and a stronger attack. As opposed to, right? So the air is different, and the touch, the opening and closing of the notes is different. Now here we have a new section that's major. So now I feel like this needs to like perk up. You know, it was kind of this more somber or understated sort of thing. I don't want to go to my max, but I want to bring it up, right? So I want to bring up the energy, and I'm probably going to make my attacks and sound crispier. This is an intuitive thing I'm feeling, but since I'm talking for 2 hours to try to share ideas with everybody, I'm using words to explain it. Now, how could I get this with I could choose a different register to use some of the ideas from and then this is going to repeat. So I want to, at this point in the song, it's going to go back to minor again. Let's see. Da 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 dun da dun dun. And I probably, since repeating back to this minor section up here, we'll say minor is blue. This section is blue, and then this major section is red. Just arbitrarily, although even though minor kind of feels more red and major feels more blue. Because we usually use red for danger. What I would do here is I would kind of transition early, and that's a big thing with making your arrangements work better, is figuring out a way to transition ahead of time to not just change concept. So what am I gonna do here? Let's see. Could I do like more of a 6? Let's see. So if I went to maybe sort of a 6/8 thing. Then I'm going to go back to probably a 3 feel here. But let's just say I was going to do that. Here, let me do this, and I'll do this and this. All right. You guys will see. That's easier for me. So if I'm starting gentle, we have an intro. And I'm going to taper it down. That's sort of the climax of that. Now I'm tapering down. And then this is my transition, that D7, where I'm going to rise in energy. Let's see, do I have yellow? This is my transition here. And then this will kind of be my, somewhere around here, we'll figure it out, will be my transition into this other feel. So if I, westward leaning, whatever it is, field and fountain, starting on the third line. Bigger. Now, how could I do it? Maybe that's a little too, when I feel that, it feels too interrupted. So maybe it just needs to plow through. Now, some point around here, I need to transition, and this is something I got to kind of work out. So I need to feel how I'm going to transition, if I even like it. I don't know. It's a little arbitrary, but we'll figure it about the editorial sort of brain here for a moment. So let's just say that I want to go from this kind of, now I have a chord over waltzes, and I'm definitely doing this sort of more jazz hemiola thing. Da, da, dee, da, da, da. That's a classic jazz waltz sort of thing. So around this da da dee don dee don stack it get so here where the blue, the last line, that's where I want to try to work in some sort of change, a transition. So if I'm here, not great, but it's at least a beginning idea. Let's see. You know what I might do? Because it feels too sudden, and it's my arrangement. So what I think I would do is I would I would kind of create a second introduction here. So I would extend this out. Maybe I'm saying 4 bars here, or I'm drawing in 4 bars of kind of extra time. It might be 4. I might choose to keep it open. I don't love it, but it's working out an idea. I'm working out a progression here. To kind of be between these two waltz feels, to show you guys like bringing up energy. So if the second time through was that, and then take it back. And I feel like just more big chords is probably too much. So now we're back to oompa. Now, do I want to end in major or minor? This chart ends in major. Da 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 dee doo dum. I don't know. Again, taking it down. Not the most genius, best ideas, but just starting with these kind of blocks of energy, these blocks of creative sort of concepts. And then again, the idea is thinking about change. And in that case, I try to change some of the registers, especially the bass. The left hand, I tried to move when I was on the 6/8 in the blue the second time through. That's my master register. And then going back to this register, the bass piano. And I don't think I changed the right hand register. Or I meant to. Maybe I did. Right. Okay. Cool. Let's do Silent Night. So let's find a version. Do you have a Silent Night, Roland Guard? Let's see. No, but that's okay. I definitely have many. So let's see what I got over here. Is it in here? Silent Night. Let's see. PQRS. Here. Okay. Interesting. B flat major. Bone da do dong. Ding da do do. So this is kind of similar to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, in that it's meant to be a gentle ballad. I think, that's what I'm hearing on it. I'm not hearing anything super radical in that sense. So how do we build it and make it grow? So let's look at some other kind of fun orchestration things. This may or may not be right under your fingers, but it's all cool stuff that you can get into. Also, XBN says, let me go to XBN's comment here. So XBN says there's also an intro to White Christmas, seldom played, that talks about being in LA, oranges and palm trees, but I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. That's really cool. I love those. It makes me think of, was it last year? I think the year before, I heard the verse to California, Here I Come, which is very similar to that. It's kind of the reverse. It is actually, very literally the verse. When that winter snow is blowing and the stars are ready to fall, let me hear that winter call. California, here I come. So it sets up like the need, the urgency. Like all these verses set up the tunes really, really well. Okay, so Silent Night. So why don't I try something where I'm just using the chords, kind of as like a chord. I'm going to think of like a choir of oohs, like ooh. Let's see, let me get to B flat. Now, me being a jazz accordion player, I tend to go to bassoon as my default register, and everything else is out of the default. That's something different. Do, da, dee, do, do, da, dee, do. Let me go to the other fake book. This one's a little too weird. Silent Night. 115. Looks like I did something on this one in the past. Maybe last year. I don't know. Here, C major. That's a better key. So. So dee ba 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 beep ba ba be do do dum. Okay, so could I do this? It still feels a little too thick of harmony. Maybe. And so I just played through the chords. I don't know if you guys could hear the melody in your head just from those chords. Now, what register might match that? Maybe the 2 middle, which I have a very dry 2 middle. Let's see. That's what I wanted. The 4, 3, 2, 1. Or right, doing F major, E minor, D minor, C major. So that's one way, although it still feels very thick, and I think whatever. I mean, just to use a different approach, that's cool. If I use the highest set of raids, it still kind of almost buries it, but that's okay. So if I started something like that, and I probably would do more ornamentation because it seems so stark. It's also not easy to control the air and of both, but I could. And a man named Jacques Mornay or a woman named Natalie Bouchex could absolutely control this melody without a ton of ornamentation. To me, still, you know, I want to ornament it with these little approach notes, you know, from above, below, the rhythm. So here's an idea for starting small. And okay, so expient. Okay, cool. I love it. I love when the chat, you know, gets ideas and suggests things. Okay, so here, let me change this so we can see you a little bit better on screen. And I'm gonna probably stop relatively soon. I can't believe I only did a few tunes. That's all right though. Where's my little thing? Where's the style thing? Theme. Here we go. There, that'll should help you be seen better. Yeah. There, okay. So XBN says, works well if the intro and verse is arranged slightly dissonant, very wistful, almost mournful, then resolves to a warm, happy with the dreams of white Christmas. Ah, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, for sure. So for this one, Silent Night, try to get this more, oops, I don't want to change. But so here's another idea. So I'm trying to not do the same formula that I did on Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which was right hand alone, then bring in one voice. So if it's here and I'm trying to think of new ideas to create variety in this live stream, and also theoretically in this maybe theoretical application of a set of music, right? So the audience, it's not interesting no matter how amazing the approach is. It's not interesting to the audience if it's the same approach for all the songs. So if I do, let's say the concept is going to be this beautiful 2 middle that this accordion has, super dry 2 middle, and delicate touch because it's a ballad. And then I'm going to bring these chords in. The time is going to be governed by my right hand. Tick, tock, tick, tick, tock, tock, tick. And then the left hand is almost going to come in as answers. And that what that does for me, I'm finding myself more in that because I can exercise this a better sense of time that's more interesting to me. It remains delicate and I still feel like I'm creating a good time feel, a good feeling of a tick tock, that 3/4 feel, but I'm doing it in a way that's more interesting and more delicate, and I'm not getting it's not dull because I'm just holding out. Right, it's not so good. Or as a place to start. And I'm doing some passing chords in the left hand. That's another thing that I get from the Baroque music is the idea that one of the things, like a thing that's not the melody, can move either earlier or later. The light's metering really weird. So on a beat. Where is that part of the song? Here. So I'll try to move my left hand later, which means I'll show you guys what I mean. And I can do this is working because I'm able to play just these chord buttons. So instead of, I'm starting here on Round Yon Virgin. Why is it not doing anything? Oh, because I don't have a layer. Let me get a layer here. Get a new layer. There we go. I'm starting here, and then I'm going to change to the C here. So it's like we expect it, or hopefully I create an expectation, or we know the song well enough that we expect it to change. Isn't that pretty? It's so simple, but it's really pretty. And I could hold it longer. We could change later. It creates that tension. And why don't I just try that as a little exercise through the whole tune? So if I start right at the top, it doesn't really change. I'll add some passing chords. Change later. Change later. It's getting too weird. It's too weird to do it systematically like that. But if I just do it here and there as part of another concept, it's better. Okay, so I won't keep repeating this concept because I want to develop it. So now we're on the Sleepin' Heavenly. I really like going to A minor there. So I feel like that's the climax here, right? This part right here is the climax of where the singer would get big and lots of energy. And then when I hit this last note is when the new idea that I'm going to start the tune again should start up. I don't like that. Doesn't match. Now, I need to go because I got to get to the round. Thank you, Gzwar. So I forget where I was. I think it was on the yellow, where I have the yellow. So we're continuing this concept, and this is more meaningful because I made the listener wait for it, because I developed it into it. And the other thing is, when we play with connection and intention and presentness in our melody, we can play things that are so much more simple and draw the listener in, because it's like we're speaking emphatically to them, you know, the way you can watch, you know, it's just a good way of being art. So they're drawn in, and now I can develop it. So I still want to say gentle. And then what do I want to do? How big can I get this going out, or what sort of concept could I do, like a choral thing? So say that I was able to develop that. I'll start it round yon virgin. Although it would be the second chorus, wouldn't it? Let's see. And I think a lot about these passing chords, which are really, it's like more movement and movement in the spaces. Hey, Courtney, great to see you. I was thinking about you today. I was like, oh, I haven't seen Courtney in the last couple streams, I don't think. So these little passing moments, where are we on? So I'm introducing another voice because it's a way of building and adding tension now. I'm an A. I don't like that. No, it doesn't. It's gotta go straight. Could it go to like bum bum? So that the way of creating a final little button after the final note, it's a lot of the time a little final thing to help close it off is needed and necessary. And for all of these songs, I've tried to just take, especially because these songs are like so iconic. You know, most of us in the West are familiar with most of these songs, I would say. So it's a sort of very iconic thing to do, to give that last little tag, and it kind of tugs on the nostalgia strings there. What I tried to do was build it up into, like, the final time I tried to build it into a more choral sort of thing where it was like really big, thinking like a wall of sound, like a chorus singing, sort of not even necessarily in everybody in unison, but like this big wall of sound. That's a choral idea to me, is one that doesn't have a different repeated groove going on in it. That's more of sort of a band concept, or a drum and melody sort of concept, where you have a repeated rhythm and then you have a melody on top of it. So the last chorus, I kept a pedal there to build up tension, and then I was trying to think of ways to break out of it. So the final A, it took us back down again so I could build up again. So that's over a G, which is the fifth, which is a nice pedal. You can usually you either do the root or the fifth. I could do the root. It doesn't create as much expectation of like, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? That sort of thing. Okay, so yeah, so anyway, that pedal. So let's see, what do? We did, the first idea was. Sorry. I'm trying to stay away from the chromatic notes because they really don't fit. It's like they're not matching the decoration. Anyway, I won't restate the whole thing, but that was at least the first idea. So just always trying to build, and then around the seams between sections, I try to this section stopped and this new idea started, pardon me. You try to overlap things. So bring in the new idea. Like I brought in the bass, not on the repeat at the top, but here with the last note. And then I would carry. I kind of want to go to a D minor there. Start. No. Whatever. And then sorry. No. I don't know. I don't know about that ending, but it's like it's the chrysalis of an idea. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I liked all the things. So I'm showing you guys a lot of like thicknesses and amounts of things I'm doing in the right hand, and then sort of trying to move and balance these various energies, and it's a lot about moving, finding the big section. And these songs, they're in there, you know. That's why these songs have stood the test of time. I think, you know, it's like good songs, a lot of good songs play themselves, you know. You just kind of have to figure out what the song, how am I supposed to play in this moment of the song. Anyways, that was really fun. So that's it. I'm gonna end because I'm gonna try to stop my day and go hang out, probably have a beer with a friend at a little brewery. So we're getting into the high holiday season. I hope everyone's doing lovely. Cool. You're welcome, Birdie. What do I have to say? Yeah, stop in next week and think about like your favorite. Uh-oh, my hair is caught. Oh boy. Think about your favorite accordion-based songs, and I can't really play recordings that are from records. You know, if like it's been recorded and posted to the streaming services, that's where the video gets flagged on the replay, and you can't be heard. You're welcome, Rolling Garb. Thanks for sending that tune. Or no, that wasn't you. That was who sent the tune? Hartman, right? Yeah. Thanks, Hartman Shorts, for sending the tune. Thanks, Roland Garb, for watching. But yeah, like I'm saying, so send me a bunch of videos. I've got a lot of favorite winter holiday tunes played live versions. So if you have a favorite recorded version, search on YouTube and try to find a live version of that. You're welcome, John. Yeah, Locomotive. Yeah, take that Victoria out of the case. Yeah, play some Piazzolla. Absolutely. Great to see you from Denmark. Oh, it warms my heart. I love the comments in the chat. So, best to everybody. Hang in there as the sun is dying. Remember, we're supposed to make the sun happy again so it can live and we get another summer.